Writing. The ballroom fell silent the moment Cassian Vale threw the velvet ring box across the marble floor. Sunlight poured through the enormous crystal windows of the Vale estate, turning the chandeliers into rivers of gold, but no one in that room noticed the beauty anymore. Every guest was staring at the young woman standing beside the grand staircase, her engagement dress trembling as tears filled her eyes. Cassian, the arrogant son of billionaire industrialist Lucien Vale, had just accused his fiancée of stealing a priceless diamond necklace from his mother's private collection. What nobody knew was that the necklace was already missing before she had even entered the house. And hidden behind the servants' corridor, a quiet maid named Elowen Hart was holding the one piece of evidence that could destroy everything Cassian believed about the woman he was about to abandon. If you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that the truth should always matter more than wealth, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this story, leave a comment, and subscribe to Heartline Stories. Because sometimes the person everyone chooses to humiliate is the very person who deserves to be protected. The woman at the center of the humiliation was Amara Bellrose, a soft-spoken teacher who had grown up in a modest neighborhood on the edge of the city. She had never been impressed by Cassian's wealth. She loved him because, in the beginning, he had seemed different from the spoiled heirs she had heard about. He had brought her flowers after difficult days, listened when she talked about her students, and promised that his family's money would never change the way he saw her. But after their engagement became public, everything slowly changed. His friends began making cruel jokes about her simple background, his mother treated her like an unwanted guest, and Cassian started caring more about appearances than affection. Still, Amara stayed because she believed the kind man she had first met was still somewhere beneath the arrogance. That afternoon, the Vale estate was glowing beneath a warm summer sun as family and business associates gathered for an elegant engagement celebration. Waiters carried silver trays across the terrace, musicians played soft melodies near the garden fountain, and expensive cars filled the long driveway. Amara had spent the morning helping arrange flowers because she wanted everything to be perfect. She had even placed a small photograph of her late grandmother inside her handbag, hoping the woman who had raised her would somehow be present for the most important day of her life. She never imagined that before sunset, she would be standing in front of dozens of wealthy strangers while the man she loved accused her of being a thief. The accusation began when Lucien Vale discovered that his wife's antique sapphire necklace had disappeared from a locked dressing room. Security searched the estate, and somehow the trail appeared to lead toward Amara's belongings. Cassian marched into the ballroom holding the necklace's empty case and demanded that she explain herself. Amara stared at him in disbelief, insisting that she had never touched the jewelry. But Cassian had already made up his mind. Embarrassed by the whispers surrounding him, he chose his pride over her. He told everyone that perhaps he had been foolish to believe a woman from such a humble family could ever belong in his world. The word struck Amara harder than any slap could have. She stood frozen as several guests looked away, while others watched with uncomfortable curiosity. Then Cassian did something that broke her completely. He removed the engagement ring from her finger and told her that their wedding was over. He said he would never marry someone who had brought shame to the Vale name. The ring slipped from his hand and rolled across the polished floor. Amara slowly bent down to pick it up, but before she could reach it, Elowen Hart stepped forward from among the servants. Elowen had worked at the Vale estate for nearly 7 years. She was usually invisible to the wealthy guests, the kind of person people passed without noticing. But she noticed everything. That morning, while cleaning the upstairs hallway, she had seen Cassian's cousin, Dorian Vale, leaving the dressing room carrying a small black case. She had thought nothing of it at first because Dorian often had access to the family's private rooms. But later, when the necklace was reported missing, Elowen remembered something else. She had found a tiny piece of blue velvet caught beneath the wheel of Dorian's car. The velvet matched the inside of the jewelry case. Elowen's hands shook as she approached the room. Everyone turned toward the maid as though her presence itself were an interruption. Cassian demanded to know what she wanted, but Elowen refused to step back. She placed the piece of velvet on the table and quietly explained what she had seen. Then she revealed that the estate's old security cameras had captured Dorian entering the dressing room shortly before the necklace disappeared. The cameras had been overlooked because the new security system had not yet replaced the old hallway camera. Dorian's face suddenly lost its color. He tried to laugh it off, but Elowen had one final piece of evidence. She had found the necklace hidden inside an unused flower pot in the greenhouse while delivering fresh roses. Security immediately searched the area, and the sapphire necklace was recovered exactly where Elowen said it would be. The ballroom erupted in stunned silence. Cassian stared at Amara, realizing that he had publicly destroyed the reputation of the woman he claimed to love without even giving her a chance to defend herself. Dorian eventually confessed that he had stolen the necklace because he was drowning in gambling debts and had planned to sell it after making Amara look guilty. He had known the family would believe the worst about her because she was an outsider. But Amara wasn't celebrating. She was standing near the window, tears still on her cheeks. Cassian approached her, ashamed beyond words, but for the first time, his money and family name could not fix what his arrogance had broken. He apologized, admitting that he had humiliated her because he was afraid of what his wealthy friends might think of him. Amara looked at him and told him that the worst part wasn't being accused of theft. The worst part was realizing that the man she loved had trusted his pride more than he trusted her heart. Cassian finally understood that love wasn't proven by expensive gifts, private jets, or diamond rings. It was proven in the moment when everyone else turned against someone and you chose to stand beside them. He asked for another chance, but Amara did not immediately accept. She returned the engagement ring and told him that forgiveness could begin today, but trust would have to be earned slowly. Months passed. Cassian changed. He stopped treating servants as invisible and began learning their names. He publicly apologized to Amara and to Elowen, whose courage had saved an innocent woman from disgrace. He also created a scholarship in Amara's grandmother's name for students from families who could not afford university. Amara eventually saw that his transformation was real, but she made him understand that second chances were not gifts handed out because someone was wealthy. They were earned through consistent kindness. If this story touched your heart, please don't just watch and move on. Like the video, share it with someone who believes people should never be judged by their wealth, background, or appearance, and leave a heartfelt comment below. Your support helps Heartline Stories bring more stories of courage, kindness, and second chances to people who need them. And before we end, here is a special request. Comment, kindness always wins, if you believe that truth may be delayed, but it can never stay hidden forever. Amara never forgot the day she had stood alone beneath those golden chandeliers, believing that everything she loved had been taken from her. But she also never forgot the quiet maid who stepped forward when everyone else remained silent. Years later, whenever someone asked her what changed her life, she never mentioned the billionaire mansion, the diamond necklace, or the broken engagement. She simply remembered Elowen's courage. Because sometimes the greatest heroes aren't the people standing beneath the chandeliers. Sometimes they're the people standing quietly in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to tell the truth.